Edu Channel, the national educator.
Well, hello, dear viewer, boys and girls, parents and students. Welcome to yet another informative, exciting, and fun-filled show, Biology Lesson. You know, it's biology. It's always fun because all we learn here is practical. We live with it. My name is Jack Mutinda. I'll be your host for the day. The sign interpreter is Maureen Njogona, and also I am with Mwalimu as always.
Yes, I'm Mary Kamau.
Yes, exactly.
I
So
teach of biology.
Aha.
Yeah.
So welcome to our lesson today. Wacha leo nikukaribishe mimi ndio host. Karibu.
Thank you.
So we introduced nutrition in our first lesson. So when we discussed there was the subtopic, because I can remember we did lipids.
Yeah.
Yes.
Sure.
The topic was nutrition in plants and animals.
Yeah.
The subtopic,
Chemicals of life.
yes, exactly, because you said it was a broad one. Now we went to lipids. Yes, exactly. So today, what are we going to tackle?
So today we are still in the same topic, nutrition in plants and animals.
Yes.
Nothing has changed as far as definition is concerned.
Yes.
Then we have our chemicals of life again. I said it is broad.
broad.
So we have so many of them.
Exactly, and
So
I'm sure
today
we'll talk
we are
about all of
discussing
them.
proteins.
Proteins.
Yes.
From lipids now we on to proteins.
Yes.
Exactly. So maybe if we start with the objectives, what should I be able to achieve by the end of this
So
lesson?
by the end of the lesson, you should be able to, together with the learners at home, to describe the proteins. What are the proteins?
Describe proteins.
Yes, you should be able to know what they are.
Exactly.
Then we have the properties of proteins. So again, you should be able to state the properties of proteins, and then you state the functions of proteins in living organisms.
So the objectives of this lesson: describe proteins, properties of proteins,
Yes.
functions of proteins.
Yes.
Nice.
Yes, because everything in biology, especially when it comes to chemicals of life,
Yes.
is important in living cells. Yes.
Okay. So my dear viewer back at home, I hope you have your writing materials ready, because you know we always have to write something, short notes for revision purposes. So if you're ready, I am ready. Mwalimu is ready.
Very good.
So like we say, legal. Let's go.
Oh, all right.
Okay, I've taught you
that's-
something new.
Yeah, thank you.
All right.
So, proteins, just like any other chemicals of life, we have the components or elements that make up proteins. In general, we have elements that make up chemicals, the different chemicals of life. And if you remember last time, we talked of 3 major elements that occurs in almost all the chemicals of life.
Yes.
I don't know, can you remember any?
Hydrogen,
Hydrogen,
oxygen,
oxygen,
hydrogen, oxygen. Then there's the one which cuts across, glycerol.
no, carbon.
Carbohydrates.
Carbon.
So it's
So
carbon.
we have carbon, hydrogen,
hydrogen,
and oxygen.
Okay.
So those are the 3 elements
All right.
that make up the chemicals of life, different types of chemicals of
All right.
life.
Okay.
But then I said now when it comes to proteins that we are discussing today, they have other additional elements. They
In
have
addition to the 3
in
ones
addition
each
to
cut
the 3,
across.
yeah. In addition to the 3, they have other additional elements. So we have phosphorus, for example, is an additional element that is never in carbohydrates, and it is also not there in lipids, but in proteins it is there.
Yeah.
Then
In
we also-
lipids, there's the phospholipids.
that is an example.
An example.
That's an example of a lipid.
That's an example of a lipid.
So we are now on the elements, okay?
All right.
Elements. So then we have sulfur. Sulfur is also an element, an additional element
In
that is found in
Proteins.
proteins. Then we also have nitrogen. Nitrogen is also an element an additional element that is found in proteins. And that is why proteins are also known as nitrogenous compounds. Yeah, they are also known as nitrogenous compounds because of the presence of nitrogen, which of course is an additional element that is not there in other chemicals of life. Yeah.
So you say the additional elements in protein are phosphorus, sulfur,
and nitrogen. Yeah, and the presence of nitrogen in them is what makes proteins be regarded as nitrogenous.
Okay.
Yeah.
Right.
Then something interesting again about proteins is that we have some proteins that are able to combine with other compounds or with other compounds or other substances. Okay, they are still, so a protein is able to combine with a non-protein substance. A property that we are going to see later that occurs in proteins. So we have a protein such as hemoglobin. I don't know whether you've ever heard of hemoglobin.
In the blood.
In the blood, specifically in the red blood cells. No, hemoglobin is a protein that has iron. Iron in it. Iron is a non-protein material that is found in hemoglobin. Iron. Why are you told to take a liver?
Oh, that's...
Yes, presence of iron.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, that's the reason why you're told to take leave. Okay.
So then, proteins are also made up of, or rather, they have the building blocks, just like other chemicals of life that already discussed. Like in lipids, we said the fatty acids and glycerol are the building blocks. So when it comes to proteins, their building blocks are known as amino acids. Yeah. So when you eat or when you ingest that piece of meat in the mouth, it is mechanically broken down in the mouth because we don't have chemical digestion of protein in the mouth. We have enzyme amylase, which is not involved in the digestion of proteins. But then in the stomach, that is where we have enzyme pepsin, which breaks down this protein now, chemically breaks down this protein into amino acids. So the building blocks of proteins are amino acids.
Amino acids.
Yeah, they are amino acids.
And proteins are broken down. Please help me phrase that statement. I want to talk about proteins, amino acids, and pepsin.
I've said proteins, the building blocks of proteins are the amino acids. So when we ingest proteins, ingesting is putting food in the mouth. So when we ingest proteins, what happens to the proteins in the mouth is that they are just they are mechanically broken down by teeth to make them easier to swallow. But then once they get into the stomach, in the stomach we have the enzyme now, pepsin, that breaks down these proteins now chemically into amino acids.
So proteins are broken down chemically by enzyme pepsin into amino acids. That's what I was looking for, because I'm sure there's some learners, they know what happens, but now how you describe it is what now makes them lose the marks. Like you always say, it's very, very important in biology. Ukiandika help out.
Very good. You must look for marking points, and you make sure that you capture all the marking points properly. Good. So then all amino acids then contain an amino group. Perhaps I will discuss more about the proteins and the amino group elsewhere, but not now. For now, it is just knowing that all the amino acids contain an amino group which comprises of hydrogen and nitrogen compounds. So that will come later, don't worry. We will discuss that. So the number of carbon atoms in one amino acid or differ in different amino acids. So you remember in lipids, we said it is the number of The number of
Wait. I have it in my fingertips. Kizungu ndio inaniangusha.
the
You have something?
glycerol. Is it the glycerol or the fatty acids?
Wait.
The glycerol molecules may be similar, but then the fatty acids are
They
may be
define
different.
different
Yeah,
lipids.
they may be different.
Aha,
So
okay,
even here, we still have the same case. So a single molecule of protein has so many amino acids. Again, by a process of condensation, we are able to make the the proteins from the amino acids. So in short, what I'm saying is that amino acids, so many amino acid molecules condensed together form a protein.
protein.
Yeah, and that is why we are saying if we are condensing these amino acid molecules to form a protein, then automatically the building blocks of proteins become the amino acids.
So now that what I derive from that is proteins into amino acids, they are chemically broken down by enzyme pepsin. Amino acids to protein, they are condensed.
Yes,
okay.
very good.
Okay.
So when just two amino acids molecules are linked together, okay, they form a molecule that is known as a dipeptide. Just two. So we've said proteins are made when many amino acids are condensed together. But when we just take two amino acids and then we link them together, then a dipeptide molecule is made. Di means two.
Die for two.
Yeah, di means two. So a dipeptide molecule is a molecule of it's a protein molecule which is made up when two amino acids are linked together. Okay.
All
The
right.
bond between these two. The
That
bond between these two amino
acids
acids
called a
is what we refer to as a peptide bond.
Or peptide bond.
Board. The board is the link,
The link.
between the two. The link. This is
Amino
amino
acid,
acid. This is
another
another amino acid.
The link.
So the board that is
bond.
linking them is what we refer to as a peptide bond.
But now
But
when
what
the
is
two-
formed
yes,
is the
dipeptide.
Very good.
Okay.
You get it?
Yes.
Di for two.
For two.
Good.
Okay.
So much. Now I believe that you have a structure of a protein in your mind.
Yeah, I do.
You
I
do.
Well,
Very good.
certainly.
So then,
Yes.
the other thing is, what are the properties of these proteins? What are the properties of proteins? So we have several properties of proteins. Number one, when these proteins are dissolved in water. When proteins are dissolved in water, I don't know whether you've ever tried to make pancakes.
Mwalimu, you know I'm a cook, so
All
that goes without
right,
saying.
all right. Now,
Yeah.
when you whip an egg
Uh-huh.
and then you mix this egg with water, I don't know, have you ever observed what happens? Does it dissolve in water?
The egg.
Yeah.
Okay. Yes, it
Take
does.
the egg or the egg albumin. Kabisa to form a homogeneous solution?
Yeah, it dissolves because it does. Okay. When you mix it
No. Today, Jack, I'm giving you that assignment.
okay.
Go try it again. You will realize that once you whip that egg in water, the egg albumin will not completely dissolve in water to form a homogeneous solution.
It will dissolve, but not completely.
Not completely. So you will find some particles suspended in the water. You will find some particles suspended in the water.
Okay, I'll go try that one.
Please
I'll
go
go whip
try.
an egg in water
Very
and try
good.
to see.
You're right.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
that type of that is now not a solution. It is a suspension, and that is one property of proteins. That once they are dissolved in water, they form what we refer to as a colloidal suspension.
So they don't fully dissolve.
They don't fully dissolve. You will
There's-
find some particles suspended in the water.
Okay. Okay.
Very
You're
good.
using eggs like an example of a protein.
yes.
A colloidal suspension.
Suspension, yeah.
All right.
All right. Then these proteins are denatured by temperatures above 40 degrees centigrade. they are denatured, they are destroyed
Yes.
by temperatures above
40
degrees
degrees
centigrade. For example, the cell membrane. Cell membrane is it has the protein layer. So when you expose this cell membrane to very high temperatures, then it is going to be destroyed. Okay, it is going to be destroyed. So that is why we say it is a general property for all the proteins, that when they are exposed to temperatures above 40 degrees, then they are denatured. Now the mistake will come in when a learner write this to the teacher, that they are denatured by high temperatures. The question will be how high. So that is why it is important to state it very clearly.
The temperature.
Yes, above 40 degrees
Above 40 degrees
centigrade.
Celsius. I hope you've got that one right, yeah?
Yeah. These proteins are also denatured by extreme pH.
Extreme
pH.
pH levels.
Yes. So I don't know whether you've ever tried to put some acid on your palm. Acid.
No, I've never. Want my palm corrode?
It will burn your palm.
Exactly.
Isn't it?
Yes.
So the same case applies to these proteins. Once exposed to very extreme pH, especially the acidic pH, then they again get denatured. So two things denature these enzymes. Temperatures above 40 degrees centigrade and
extreme
pH, and especially acidic pH.
Okay.
You get it?
Yes.
Then the other property is that proteins are amphoteric.
Amphoteric.
Yes,
Okay.
amphoteric.
I believe you're going to tell me what is amphoteric.
Yes, amphoteric means that they react in both acids and bases. They react in both acids and bases. Okay? Yeah, that is exactly what we mean by proteins being amphoteric.
They
Yeah,
react both
in both acids and bases. You get that?
Yes, I do.
Very good. So those are the properties of proteins. Then, are they important to our bodies? What are the functions of proteins in our bodies?
Yes.
Right from primary school, I'm sure. Your primary school teacher taught you something about proteins. Yeah?
A balance, their bodybuilding.
Really? If you are told that they are bodybuilding, then what about carbohydrates?
Okay, now remind me, primary school was ilikuwa kitambo.
All right. Sawa. Here we are now. Here we are. So what are the functions of proteins? Number one, that they are structural compounds. They are structural compounds. That means they form components of different parts of different living organisms, such as hooves.
Hooves are protein.
Yeah, they have protein component in them. Nails. They have a protein component in them. Your hair have a protein content in it.
Wait, now, thank you for bringing that one up, Mwalimu. Now there's this, I'll say it's an analogy or an assumption. When someone has long hair, they tend to get thin. Wanasemaga hiyo nywele inakula.
Oh, really? No. By the way, because as time goes by, I will tell you what leads to the growth of the hair. You will get a shock of your life.
So that one is a myth. You know that, I'm sure hata kuna watu nyumbani.
That's a myth. Yeah. But I will explain to you. And now in a different level, not in Form 1. The biological aspect behind the growth of the...
Sasa we cut away, go do away the
Very good. So what we are saying here is proteins are structural compounds. Number two, plants synthesize the amino acids which build up proteins. So you see, plants are able to carry out photosynthesis. So even the proteins that we take comes from plants. All animals depend on plants, whether directly or indirectly. So that is why we are saying even the proteins that we take are synthesized by the plants. Yeah, good. Then they are also metabolic regulators. proteins are metabolic regulators. Come to think of enzymes that I've talked about. Enzymes are protein in nature. They catalyze biochemical reactions in living cells. That is, they can either speed up these biochemical reactions or slow down these biochemical reactions. Talk about the hormones. That are found in the body, the insulin hormone, the androgen, the progesterone, and all that. Okay, they are also protein in nature. So that is what we are saying, that proteins are metabolic regulators. Okay, they regulate metabolic processes in form of enzymes. Enzymes regulate metabolic processes. They are protein in nature. Hormones regulate metabolic processes. They are also protein in nature. You get it?
All right.
Good. Now, the same proteins can be oxidized to produce energy, but during starvation only. In case of starvation, you should not allow your body, or rather you should not allow yourself to get to that point where now the source of energy in your body is from proteins. Yeah, so that is why we are saying proteins can be oxidized to produce energy in times of starvation. And I want our learner to get that very clearly at home. You'll be taught to state the functions of proteins. If you just put it that proteins are oxidized to produce energy, then
you don't get a mark.
Exactly. Yeah,
because it only happens during starvation.
Yeah, it only happens during starvation. Very good. So much of that. I hope you've gotten that. Proteins are very interesting.
Proteins. The eggs we eat.
The eggs you eat, yes. But then we will limit their intake at a different level.
Because also, I am sure a high intake of proteins, of course, has to do something, has to affect the metabolism and the bodily functions.
By the way, once you eat too much proteins, Jack, and this is not the first time that I'm telling you this, you overwork your liver because of the process of deamination of these excess amino acids in the liver.
But it leads to excess amino acids, so that is
very good.
Deamination is work of the
very good. So now you know the structure of the proteins, you know the functions, the properties of proteins, and the functions of proteins in the body.
Exactly.
So then we have the class activity today.
Okay.
Now I have exposed even the answers to you now.
Lakini tulikuwa nazo, I'm very sure we'd have gotten, she has taught well, so we would have gotten them. The answers,
so what are the building blocks of proteins?
The amino acids.
The amino acids.
Exactly.
Very good. Very good. Then the difference between essential and non-essential amino acids. Now let me tell you something. We have some amino acids that are synthesized in our bodies. We have some amino acids that are synthesized in our bodies. So you don't have to take them in the diet. Such amino acids that are synthesized in our bodies are known as non-essential amino acids.
The ones which are synthesized in the body.
Yeah, they are known as essential amino acids. They are known as the ones, essential amino acids are the amino acids that cannot be synthesized. The essential ones, they cannot be synthesized. Non-essential can be synthesized. So we are not referring to them as non-essential because they are not important. We are referring to them as non-essential because we don't have to take them in the diet. They are synthesized in the body. But for the essential amino acids,
we have to take them.
We have to take them through the diet because they are not synthesized in our bodies.
Are there any examples of those, Mwalimu?
Now, examples later.
Oh, okay.
Yes.
All right. That was the class activity.
That was the class activity. Properties of amino acids.
Properties of... They are made up of carbon, hydrogen, and nitrogen.
And we also have oxygen, part of it.
Yes.
Yeah. Then the functional, they have the functional groups. That is the amino acids. Yeah, they are the building blocks. And the carboxyl group.
Carboxyl.
carboxyl group. That is a functional unit
Functional
of the proteins.
Of the proteins.
Yeah.
Okay.
So having gone through that,
All right. To the assignment
I think I can give you that opportunity to give our learners assignment back at home.
By the powers bestowed upon me by teacher. Our assignment today. 1. State 3 functions of proteins.
Very good.
2. Why are proteins said to be unique?
Good.
3. What type of bonds form in the construction of a polypeptide?
Very good.
The trick there is what type of bonds form in the construction of a
Yeah.
polypeptide.
Oh, you are a good learner. A very good learner.
Thank
A
you.
very good student in my biology lesson.
Next time unikujia na sweet uniambie.
Sawa, sawa. I will.
All right, thanks a lot, Mwalimu. That has been a very, very informative lesson as always. I always learn something new. Hata mimi nimekufunza kitu mpya leo. Kianzia lesson.
Kabisa. It's true.
Okay. Yeah, so I've been your host, Jack Mutina. If you want to watch this lesson and many others, if you missed out, you can log on to Kenya Education Club. That's where you'll get all these lessons just for your consumption. If you want to talk to us, you can reach us on our social media handles. That is at EduTV Kenya. Any questions, any feedback, we will highly appreciate it. Our sign language interpreter has been Maureen Jugona and Mwalimu.
Mary Kamau.
So until next time.
Goodbye.
Bye.